here. There's like multiple fun things we do and prepare. And let's do this and then wait for it.
How long does this last?
9 hours. No, could be 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, until you share
or
your story.
10 minutes.
We have an hour. It's all good.
Okay.
And let's
We're
see.
just gonna talk.
Yeah. And we are, as we say, live. Yes. And wow. And what an honor to be here with our dear sister Liz, and to share your story and your journey, and that one miraculous day that you came into our office, and Marla and I were blessed to share the story because we were being present, meaning we said to you, "Is everything okay?" and that's the miracle of someone being present. And by the way, Liz, introducing you to the world, and our dear sister, by the way, we're honored for you to be here with us today, sharing your story, your journey. And what I was just prefacing was the simple question of asking someone how they're doing, but meaning it and really asking it with love and being present and being in the now is the difference between sometimes life and death, or the difference between allowing someone to know that they do matter and they're cared for and someone is paying attention to me and they really sincerely care about something that's going in my life. And that started our journey together when Marla and I said, because we could feel the pain. We felt you were going through something, and we just simply said, "Is everything okay?" And I'm going to let you take it over from there, because you said, "No, not really, so I'm going to let you talk.
Okay, you did ask me that question, but do you know how often you get asked that question? Hey, how are you? Are you okay? Right? And you don't have that comfort level to say, no, I'm not okay. As a matter of fact, I haven't been okay for 20 years, right? You asked that question, but I felt that you were truly open to my response. You were sensing what I was feeling, what I had been feeling for many years. And I remember, Scott, you put your hand on one shoulder, Marla put her hand on the other shoulder, and we sat there for a moment and we prayed, and I just broke down in tears. I don't know if you remember that. Mm-hmm. And Marla, I don't remember what you said, but I remember how it made me feel. There was a 180 that occurred that hadn't happened in years. I'd been carrying this lump in my throat since my mom's passing, right? My mom's passing was just one thing that I was carrying. I was carrying a lot of things in my throat. I'd been to doctors. I'd been to specialists, can't get rid of this pain in my throat. Did all MRIs, x-rays, all the tests. Couldn't get rid of it. Didn't realize it was emotional until there was a doctor that said, I think you're carrying your emotions in your throat. People would have asked for a long time, hey, are you okay? How's it going? Oh yeah, I'm fine. You always say you're fine. Who's going to sit there and say, I'm falling apart? I've been carrying this burden for years. This pain is weighing so heavy. I can't take it anymore. It's in my back. It's in my shoulders. It's in my brain. It's everywhere. You asked, are you okay? I felt like you were welcoming me to be open and honest and my true self. And I let that pain go. I've not had that throat pain since that day. However, I know it still gives me chills because I can still feel how it left me. I can still feel that switch. But a lot has happened since then.
Oh, I want to pause. I don't mean to interrupt because I am the interrupter.
Me too.
I want to take us back because it's about almost 3 years ago, I think, right? And Marla and I said to you, Liz, is everything okay? And you did. You paused and you really thought about it. We saw you think about this, like I'm going to share this. And you said, well, not really. My father's 81 years old and he's going through colon cancer and he doesn't want to go through chemo or radiation. And Marla and I both know what it's like to be left. My mom passed from lung cancer 7 years, Marla's mom Alzheimer's. So we know what it's like to be left. And we said, this is his journey. These are his choices. We're not in control of our lives, let alone someone else's. Right. And you kind of got that. And then
you were processing that.
You
sat with that.
I processed that for a while.
You really did.
A long while. Like, I'm talking days.
And we watched you when you were with us.
Yeah, you shifted.
Presence.
And then we held hands and we held the intention stick and we did blessings for you. And you chose one word. You didn't choose three, you chose one, but you didn't show us what you chose, because some people like to keep it personal and some share. And you put it in your intention stick, and I came around and I put it around your neck, and you started bawling.
Yes.
And you said to us later, it was the Oprah ugly cry. I was bawling. and as you were crying, we both came in to hold you. And as we're holding you together, all of a sudden you started saying, it just left, it just left, it just left. Can you hear my voice? I'm speaking much clearer. It just left. And we let go of you and we saw all the color come back to your face. And we're like, what just left? And you're like, the lump in my throat just left. And then Marla and I are like looking at each other like, okay, what lump in your throat just left? And you started saying, just like you shared, for over 2 years, I've had a lump in my throat the size of a golf ball. Like you said, every doctor, CAT scan, not cancer, we don't need to operate, but it just left. And Marla said to you,
I said, and I remember this, of course you have a lump in your throat. You've been holding everything in right here and haven't been able to express your truth.
Yes.
And that's why your lump just left, because you finally were able to let it go. And then I said to you, if now you can live your life in gratitude.
Yes.
And I said, if you can consider 1 or 2 things every day of what you are grateful for, your whole life will shift.
And it has.
And you, like Scott said, all of the color came back to your face, like rosy red cheeks, and
like mine right now, because I'm filling up.
Yes, you were this flower that bloomed in front of our face.
Well, that, like I said, that lump that left, and you say color came back into my face. Color came back into my world.
Yes.
See color. I could feel color. I can now feel color in others, and I can see when others aren't well. I sense it. And when I say not well, I don't mean physically sick. I mean carrying a lump in their throat.
Yes.
Right. I sense that. When you use the word gratitude, gratitude is one of the words that I have carried since that day. The word gratitude. That word has kept me grounded. It has kept me from going back to where I was. You told me to think of 2 things. Before that, it was so difficult to think of one thing. I write a gratitude list every day, and I have to stop at 20 things.
Well, I didn't want to overwhelm you. When
so
you had this epiphany, and I didn't want to overwhelm you to think of 20 things, I figured start small. Start with 1 or 2 things every day, and I knew your list would grow. I knew you wouldn't. That once you got on that momentum of gratitude, you wouldn't be able to stop.
And
it's true.
It was. I have to. Sorry, I'm spoiling you because you are so humble and you are such pure love. But you wrote Marla and I the next day. Like, I know you wrote it that evening, but we read it the next morning, and I'm going to paraphrase it. And it said, "Dear Scott and Marla, I'm sitting here writing you this letter, sharing with you for months and months and months. I've been praying and asking for God's help to find those that have compassion and love in their hearts to help overcome all the negativity and hatred in this world. And I'm sitting here writing this letter crying, all tears of joy for the answered prayers. And at the very bottom of the letter, you said, and by the way, the intention that I chose was be, let it be. To write, to make sure everything is perfect just as it is, and let the things go that we cannot control. And to this day, it makes every hair stand up on my body. And I think, I'm not kidding you, Marla and I have shared your story 1,000 times, and I'm not exaggerating.
Profound.
It is so profound, because think about everyone. I'm talking man, women, children that are not speaking their truth. They're just pushing, like you just said, pushing everything down. I'm fine, I'm fine. And what do we say? If you have the miracle cure to I'm fine, we want it. Because everyone else in the world is going through something, but that's okay. And you literally let that go. You let go of the reins to trust that everything is going to be okay.
No matter what.
No matter what.
No,
Everything is okay.
It's always working out for you, right?
It's
everything.
And I share that with my family, that it doesn't matter what happens, everything's going to be okay.
yes.
You know, there are a lot of people that fear this COVID virus, this ugly thing that has reared its head. And I said, it doesn't matter how it affects our family. We are going to be okay. Each of us, independent and interdependently, we will be okay. And it's amazing, because 3 years back, I would be on the floor with dread. I would be living in fear, lacking trust, no gratitude, because I wouldn't know what to be grateful for.
Wow.
And I still have physical pain in my body. I have this autoimmune issues. But one thing I say in the morning, first of all, I don't own the pain. It's not mine.
Good.
It lays in there somewhere. It decides to exist sometimes, right? But in the morning, I say, wow, I'm so glad I can feel it, because that means I'm alive. That was not my attitude before. Never. You shared this intention stick with me. I started writing gratitude lists. It's just amazing. I get chills still from that day, from my story that I shared that day. Because like I said, people always ask, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? And you always say, oh yeah, I'm fine. There was something different that day, and it was,
It was miraculous, because as Marla and I say with everyone when they receive their intention stick, that we always say that truly your journey is just beginning. And it's going to be miraculous. And as we say, to trust that. And I think a little bit of miraculous has happened since our first day of meeting, because I think it was, if not that same day or the next day, you had shared another miraculous story. You happened to be at Costco and you bought. Share that briefly, because then I really want you to share.
Make it real long. However, okay. So it seems when you let things go, you allow other things in. Okay. You let go of your ego as well. The ego, I didn't realize was that big in me, where, you think you don't have an ego, but you do, right? And you let it go. Once you begin letting at least a portion of that ego go, things begin to happen. Well, I'm in Costco. Walk into Costco, see someone I hadn't seen in years. He and his wife were there. We were all surprised. Hey, how's it going? Give him a hug. Oh, I get this sharp pain in my head. Just a zinger pain, but it's gone in a split second. Give her a hug. Everything's fine. We're talking, having a great conversation, catching up. They have to go. I have to go. Give her a hug. Give him a hug again. Boom. That pain hits. I step back. Had I not let go of a lot of things, I don't think I would have shared this with them, and I don't think I would have felt what he was feeling. And I asked if he'd been to the doctor, if he was okay. And she explained, well, he's having some issues, not real okay, but hopefully okay. Anyhow, long story short, doctor visit, brain tumor surgery. He's doing fine. How did that happen? I don't know, but it did, and I'm open to it. I would not have been open to it before, but I'm open to it. But I think it's because I can feel those things now. And some people might think, wow, she's a freak of nature. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen every day. I could give you a hug. I could give you a hug, Marla. I probably wouldn't feel a thing. But for some reason or other, I was meant to that day, and I was meant to share it with him. And I couldn't walk away without saying something. Freak of nature or not, you're going to share, Liz, because this is something that you're sensitive. I was sensitive.
You were intuitive, and we all have that ability within inside of ourselves. So it's not being a freak of nature, so to speak.
No,
Some people who don't understand this might think that. However, when you open your heart to receive,
yes,
you can receive someone else's energy, and that's science. That's not.
It's not the woo-woo.
It's not woo-woo at all.
Normal's boring, by the way.
What's that?
The normal is boring, by the way.
It is boring.
And it's the same reason why sometimes you could be thinking about someone, and then that minute they call you, right? That they're calling you. So it's that same intuitive nature that we have in each other, but it comes with being open, right? And so before, you may have been closed off because, like you said, you were coming from fear,
right?
Umbrella of fear. But now that you're feeling differently, and you're seeing life differently, and you're living in a joyful way, in a blissful way, you're allowing it to all flow through you, and it becomes easy. And it's easy for us to take on someone else's energy, and for you to feel it in that exact place, and that you acted on it. And that's, I think, the biggest key is that you
listen. But what I'm smiling about, because with you, Marla and I have a perma smile.
Well, I have a perma smile with you too.
If you also remember, because you said that smile was not always there, by the way.
Wow.
And you have the most beautiful smile that the world should see. But what I'm smiling about right now is that Marla and I also shared with you, be open to receive, or the art of allowing, because the beautiful people that will come into your life, it's not going to be by chance or randomness, or I was in the right place at the right time. I said, there's no coincidences. And look again, what happened immediately, miraculously, that, okay, you happened to go to college school. Okay, you happened. No, we're always being guided, or people are being guided into our lives. So we have to witness those miracles. And that really was a miracle, because if you wouldn't have run into them to say, you need to go back to the doctor, wow, again, miraculous. And also, I think a little more has happened on your journey since since we saw you. Because you remember what we shared with you a little bit after that? We said, what you put out from your heart comes back in. So if you're putting out more gratitude or forgiveness or love or light or happiness, only more comes back into our lives. And we said also the opposite, if we're putting out worry or stress or anger or fear or anxiety, guess what? Only more. So what's kind of also happened since we saw you?
Wow, so many things have happened. I got engaged.
That's what I was leading up to.
Congratulations!
But get this. What's interesting about that is once there is a shift, once you're open, once you let those fears go, once you let those negative thoughts that keep flowing through your head go, the good stuff comes in, and you're there's a shift in your in your thinking, and there's a shift in your acceptance of certain things. If there are negative things coming at you, oh wait, stop. It's not going to go beyond this. We'll talk about boundaries in a second, okay? Because there's another thing that happened after I met with both of you. Anyhow, so long story short, yes, I got engaged. I met a wonderful man. He's on the same journey with me.
What a beautiful soul.
Yes. And we have shared with his son, and his son wears the intention stick every day. The moment he put it on, he chose his 3 words, didn't share the words with us, but had so much gratitude and gave me a hug like he'd never hugged me before. And I was just floored. Yeah,
Oh,
I
You didn't
was.
share that with us.
I have. Michael has a beautiful family, and when I say beautiful, of course, I don't mean physical beauty. I mean their hearts are in the right place,
Yes.
and they're all the way that it's just amazing how one person, one thing can change, and it has a ripple effect on
mhm.
all of us, around, on everyone. And that's why this past, present, future, this we are one, we are one. I know I'm a little scattered here because I'm so excited about this, but yes, I met Michael. We're engaged. I don't know when we're going to be married. We're waiting for this whole virus to pass. We may marry and celebrate later. Who knows?
When it happens, it's just perfect.
But it's okay because
Yeah.
everyone's okay and we're okay, and that's all that matters. Yeah, life changed dramatically for me. I mean, it was just a 180, and I don't even know. I have memory issues and I take memory medication, so I'd have to go back and look at my journals to remember all of our conversations. So thank you for, bringing me up to speed on what I'd forgotten. But um, after meeting Michael, I also started down a different path, and that is doing some volunteer work for an amazing organization, right? Finding others that I've shared the intention stick with and given the intention stick to, and they wear it daily, yes, with their word or words. Um, so my entire life, Scott, Marla, has changed so significantly. I wish I could share every detail of what has happened, because I'm talking, and I'm not talking there isn't a rocky road. Yes, there are rocky roads,
Of
but
course.
it's all in the approach. It's all in how we decide we're going to accept. And I just mentioned boundaries a second ago.
Yes.
We have a comfort zone. I don't even know what my comfort zone is anymore because I've let a lot of those boundaries just boom. They've kind of boom, they're gone. So I don't even,
Our world, by the way. What's a boundary? I don't even know what you're talking about.
oh, I know. I had so many boundaries on myself. My comfort zone was about this big, and now I don't even know if it exists. And I know people are like, "Oh, she needs a comfort zone." That's for sure. But it's the boundaries are gone. The ego, I've been able to shrink it, significantly. My gratitude list, like I said, I stop at 20 because I could just write and write and write. And there is so much to be grateful for on a daily basis. Yes, I have to be sheltered down in order to help my dad. I'm his caregiver,
Yes.
but still so much to be grateful for. You
Mm.
know, just he decided not to do chemo and radiation. I accepted that. I came to a point of acceptance and said, I have no control over this. Oh my gosh, he and I have the best relationship now. I was just constantly, nah, I think you need to do chemo. I think you need to, radiation. No, that's his decision. I respect that.
Yes.
You were able to
It's
let it
changed.
go and be and just
And
let
let
it
it
be.
be. Yes, let it be.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Like it's you are such a bright light and such inspiration, not just to Marla and I, but just that living example of what we share with everyone is just let go and trust,
Yeah.
because this is always getting in the way of this.
Yeah.
And we say once we can finally get out of our own way,
Mhm.
watch
Yes.
the miracles unfold
And
and
that's
watch everything happen for you.
yes. And that's where I say the ego comes in. It's letting go. Who do I think I am sometimes? The ego is so big that it literally is a boundary, a not good boundary,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
ego. Once you let that go, so much good comes in.
Mm.
It just flows in. And once it flows in, this is just me saying this, but you got to be willing to share it because you don't understand how it might affect someone else. And I think I've shared this story with you. Uh, I felt one of my friends was going through something, and I was wearing my intention stick and I had my other one in my purse. And I just mentioned to her, I just feel, I sense that you're going through something. I don't think I would have sensed that before when I was all into my pain and just completely shut down. I don't think I would have sensed that, but I sensed she was going through something, and she was, and it was not good. And the end result was probably not going to be good. And we both sat there and cried together, and I presented her with her intention stick, and life has been very different for her.
Oh,
And that's why it's so important, I think, that we share and we continue to share. And if people are willing to do these videos and share their part, even if it, you know, someone might share something, it's like, oh yeah, whatever. It might not be a big deal for me. However, it might be the world for someone else. And we don't know that
that's
because we don't know what someone else's pain is. We don't know what their struggles are. We don't know what their attitudes are towards their struggles. I mean, had you not asked me if I was okay that day, I don't know if I'd be here today, honestly. I honestly don't.
my goodness.
Liz,
That's how and I'm saying that from my heart.
Yes.
I know, we're feeling it. We're feeling your heart.
Yes. Yeah.
And wow, there's no words that I can express, but you did save that person's life. And again, we don't realize what you and Marla just said, that simple act of kindness. And this is what the message, I think, for everyone in the world right now to understand is just ask.
Yes.
Ask how you're doing and listen and
Yes.
be present and be in the now, not how are you? And someone says, oh, I'm horrible. And you're like, okay, great. Have a nice day. And you didn't even hear
Yes.
the
Yes.
words coming out of that person who actually was maybe opening up for the very first time in their entire life. And you were the one person to be there. And we're all that one person to be there at that moment. So listen.
Yes. That is so.
And ask and be present and understand we're all being guided into each other's lives for these reasons, to ask someone else how they're doing. And if they're doing great, amazing, because we are all blessed. And if they're not, we stay and we take, whether it's 5 minutes or 5 hours, to be there for someone that is maybe going through something maybe much worse than what someone else is going through. And that's why we say, watch the miracles, be open. We're not bumping into people for random reasons now. We're bumping in to make sure that everyone has everyone's back. And again, never to feel alone. And again, to let, as you did, your friend know that she is loved and that she does matter and that she does have purpose. And as we spoke about, she is, like anyone else in this world, just as important as anyone else. Because we are all the same, but the programming and the whatever has told us, nope, we need to be different or better, or that's the ego. And I love that you said you let go of the ego.
Every day. I have to do that every day.
We do. We have to that's right. We have to let it die in a sense, right? Every day, and relive it start over.
Yes.
In order for all the good to come out. When when we're talking about asking someone how they're doing, my friend Wante, who also has been presented with her intention stick, she asks people, how are you doing? And then when they say fine, she says, no, okay, that's great, but how are you really doing? And she is so sincere, and she wants to know the truth.
Yes.
It's helped others. Just with those words, no, how are you? When she said that to me the first time, this is not too long ago, but no, how are you really? And I'm like, oh, really?
Really?
Let me share with you how I am, and she's so sincere. And it's one of the reasons why I presented the intention stick to her. She understands. She's one of us. She's made a change in her life as well. And she's probably going to watch this and go, what is she talking about? Why is she using my name?
Because that's what family's for.
And it goes back to the oneness that you also spoke of earlier. And you also spoke about your intuitive nature, how you were able to understand maybe what this man was going through, and you felt him through the same pain. You were able to
Yes.
receive that, and that is the oneness, right? That is being able to open up and touch someone else, and then do the same thing for them, so then they can go out and help someone else. And that's what we're all here for. And that is,
Yes.
again, the oneness that we have to bring back together to the world to remind everyone.
Exactly.
And it just makes us so happy and joyful when we can do that for someone else. And
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that beautiful? Because it just comes back to you tenfold. It really does.
you're not doing it for the reasons people think, oh, I need to do this because, oh, I know goodness is coming back. It's like, let that go. Do it because it makes you feel good. You expect nothing in return. Give everything and expect zero. And if something beautiful and blessed comes back into your life, it's even more gratitude.
Right?
Right?
If you expect zero, you are never disappointed, and you can remain, like I said, you can remain on that high. Life is not easy.
Nope.
No.
It will be. It wouldn't be life if
Mhm.
but the oneness is what has helped me get through,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that we are not alone, no matter what.
Yes. And you know, I just want to touch on what you just said, and you're right. All of us are going through obstacles and challenges or pain or illness. We're all given different types of bags, so to speak, in life. And there are challenges that we have to go through.
Absolutely.
And we can't choose our gifts in life. Our perception is something is good or bad. And we can't make a decision. It's not for us to make a decision if something's good or bad. If we think it's bad, like pain or an illness, maybe it's a really good time to stop and really understand why you have to walk that path right now. What is it that I need to know about self, to look inward and think about think about the growth that your soul will do at that time to express yourself while you're here. And again, that is the tree of life. It is the expansion, the growth of our soul.
Yes.
And if we choose to look at something and come from that ego, then we're missing the whole point or the gift of that moment of what's possibly coming our way. And we'll probably be faced with a similar circumstance again if we pass up on it.
Yes, you're right. Wow, I never even thought of that. You're right. Oh, that's major right there. What you just said. That is.
But this is why Marla and I and we get to be here right now and bring that knowledge not just to you or again someone else that's listening or seeing this and hearing your story or another story and we're seeing that response because as Marla, prior to this conversation, someone witnessed one of the other interviews from yesterday and called Marla and I this morning to say, I'd like to get one for myself and my husband. My husband's going through something very difficult right now, and I know this will really bring him home and ground him and start healing from within inside versus the answer on the external. And she said to Marla and I would like to call you and have us be interviewed like what we're witnessing right now so we can share our story. And it just filled us up, right? Because we touched one more soul or two more souls or 100, 1,000,000, 7 billion plus. And this is, again, we're one. We are one. We just forgot that we're one. And we're reminding this beautiful world that we are all connected. All of our souls in this world are connected. And we say, when you're feeling something like you now know, we're feeling what you're feeling and vice versa. And we have to pay attention Or we should say, we have to let go of the things that are no longer serving us so we can receive all the good things or the blessings or the feelings that we should to help another. And you are that beautiful example, Liz. And
there are a lot of us out there, and I'm so grateful for that.
Oh,
That are stories, and they're the impact that each of us are making, and the rippling of the great ripple effect. But as you said, Scott, there are certain things we have to let go in order for us to be open to receiving the good that's coming our way.
absolutely. Empty our vessels of the things that no longer serve us.
Right.
Because when we ask for the new, we can receive them. And until we can do that, the new things we ask for just overflow because our vessels are so full of our past. So again, as hard as it may be, we have to let that go, forgive, and send it with love.
Yes.
And say thank you for the lessons and the gifts that were given to us to bring us to the next place in our lives and who it has made us today. And wow, because it's just, it's so powerful. And we're going to continue to share that each and every day with the world. Talk about validation. But this is why we've all been brought here. It's to help everyone else and to make sure we come back together as one.
Yes, that is our purpose. I believe that is our purpose.
Oh, and anything else you want to share? Because like I said, we could talk for 9 hours.
And I'm only going to make this 1 minute. Past, present, and future. We talked about that, I think, the last time we met, past, present, and future. And that's another thing, another conversation that really helped. And I've shared this conversation with a lot of people. Past, present, and future. Past is gone. Let those be lessons that we've learned. Future, we don't know. We can prepare for it. Present, be in the moment. Because this moment just passed and it's now the past. So be in the moment. And if that moment means letting go of a lot of stuff and letting good come in and then sharing that good, then be in that moment every moment.
oh, that's beautiful.
Love
And the present is exactly that, right? It's a present.
Present.
It is a gift. Well, we can't wait to see you
Beautiful.
again and give you actual real big hugs. And we are sending you and your beautiful family just so much love. And thank you for being in our lives. And thank you for being you and sharing your journey and your story with everyone. And as you know, sending you blessings and intentions of gratitude, light and love from us and our family to you and yours. We love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love you, love you, love you. And thank you. We'll see you soon. Mwah.